I'm sure some people will jump in as we go through the process. So, as always here, before we get started, put the amount of clients that you guys currently have on your roster in the chat. Let's see where people are at. It's a good problem to have where Ashing rubs her head because like, how many people have I got?
It's not like that. There's just people dropping on. There's people dropping or coming in and dropping off. So that's what it is.
So with regards to James's too, I appreciate that you're a part-time PT coach, right? But why is that? Why is that too? Like, are you doing outreach outside of your? And like, this is not my area of expertise, but how much outreach are you doing? Like, I don't do enough outreach, right? And I have 30 people on here. So like, if you did outreach, you could easily get more than that. Yeah, a little bit. No. I would definitely have some structure with that. How long is your commute to work?
It can differ. I mean, obviously, I drive, don't I? Sometimes hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours.
Yeah, but I say it's difficult when you're driving, right? Because you obviously can't be texting while you're driving. But you could do the Dean style voice dictation. That could be your way forward with this. I look at blocking out a little bit of time whenever it is. Maybe it's when you first get home, whenever you get a lunch break, like just even if it's like one of the things that I think works really well sometimes as well is if you can offer advice on Facebook group forums. So like I'm in the precision nutrition group, I'm in the muscle nerds group, I'm in the kilo strength group, I'm in the supercharge group, obviously. I'm in a bunch of different Facebook groups and I don't make most of them. I went through PN group yesterday and offered the advice is ridiculously scary. Like people going, I've got a client that says she's on 1,200 calories and not losing weight. And the first 10 comments are all, you need to feed her more. Fucking hell. Right? So like you guys are already smarter than 90% of the people in that group compared to nutrition. So if you can start commenting on them and offering help, I've had 3-4 new followers from that yesterday, all are interacting with me in the DMs. Like warm leads straight off the bat because you gave advice. So I'd start doing that. Ashing, 53 groups, 28 one-to-one, one join next week. Nice. So from that, how many people are on track? Again, you can put it in the chat or unmute, whatever's easiest for you.
Just with my group, I had first check-ins this week, and like a lot of them are just finding their feet. Like we're only into week 2, they're just finding their feet. Like a lot of them, some girls have made massive progress this week, and then some girls have been like, well, I've been in my deficit, but I haven't lost weight. But then my sister was going away at the weekend and I didn't stop myself. I went all out. And like when I explained that like alcohol counts, she just couldn't believe it, couldn't understand. But just small little things like that, and just like people not hitting their protein. And now look, they're only in week 2, so it is going to take time. But then with my one-to-ones, they're not bad. Like a lot of them are beginning to see progress, but then there's some girls that like it doesn't matter what you do, they have an excuse every week. Now, and I deal with a lot of mammies, like a lot of busy mammies that work, then come home to the kids. I have a lot of women that their partners are farmers, that they work long hours. So it is hard to manage. Like I do understand that. But then when I suggest maybe getting up a half an hour early, it's like I've asked them to commit murder. Like it's hard that way. Okay. And I don't want to be too harsh because obviously you have to be considerate with some people. But like there's one client at the moment and like she even knows. She said to me there yesterday, she was like, I know you're going to give out to me when you see my check-in. And I'm like, well, if you know I'm going to give out, why aren't you trying to change that one thing? And I know what it is like.
Yeah.
But
what is that thing?
I just don't know where to. Protein. She will not eat protein to save her life. And then she's going over on calories and can't understand why the scales isn't coming down.
Okay, cool. So, and like, what's the target? Have you got a clear target with her?
Yeah, like, to be honest, she just said that. So I'm trying, to be honest, at the beginning, it was seeing the scales come down. But now I'm trying to move her away from the scales, because every morning she's getting up in it and she's like texting me like, I'm 1 pound up, I'm 2 pound down, I'm 1 pound. I'm like, stop getting so caught up on this. She does not care about anything else, like nothing else. She was a stone lighter 3 years ago, and all she can think about is that. That's all. Like, and when Shannon put up that post yesterday, I was like, this is exactly what I'm trying to drill into the girls. She put up a post about stop trying to be your 23, the weight you were at 23.
Yeah.
Your body has changed, your life has changed. And I just can't get that through to her, that like she's a different person. You know, her body has changed. She's going through menopause at the moment. So like there's a lot going on that like she just won't take everything. Like it literally just comes down to the scale. So I've asked her there this morning, can we just get rid of the scales for 1 week? That's all I'm asking. And see, does your mood improve because of it?
Yeah, I think that's maybe not a bad chat for 1 week. I think if it doesn't, then I think then you've got to now readdress and explore sort of why that scale number isn't coming down. And
like
I know what it is, and she knows what it is, but she's just not doing. So we either need strategy, or she needs to we need to have a conversation that showcases to her either I want this or I don't, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that's what she keeps saying to me. She keeps going, you think I'm not trying, but I really, really am. And I was like, I've never said you're not trying. I truly believe you are trying, but I've given you a meal plan and you still won't eat off that meal plan. I've shown you how to bring up your protein. I literally got you to write out what you have every day, and I've done up a meal plan, just increasing the portion sizes of stuff. Will you eat it? No.
Yeah. I mean, and with regards to the questioning, like, have you asked a little bit about what the why is behind why she went for the meal plan? Like, what's the thing that she's, because people will dodge that question. Right? I have a client that, when I ever do this in this room, I always get these weird emojis. And I know I've forgotten things, but like I have a client that I wanted to bring down inflammation because he had some things in his blood work that I needed to bring down. So I wanted to drive up fats, and he didn't. Just every week, I had fats at like 90 to 100. Every week, fats at 60, fats at 60, fats at 60. And like, when you have someone like that that's just not doing what you say, the trying, like, sometimes I always think like strategies are great, and having more strategies to work with her busy lifestyle, around her kids, around her family. Like, if getting up is like you feel it's the same as asking someone to shoot somebody, then we need to find some strategies of how to make the day easier. That's 100% coaching is problem solving. However, there is an element of like, if you don't know the reasons why someone isn't doing something in the first place, it's very hard to advise, because it's almost like direct to a direction that it's a strategy they're just not going to do. So I think there's definitely a call that needs to be had with this person of like, look, no judgment, but like, tell me a little bit about what it is that's making it difficult to get this protein up, and find out what is she worried about. Because she might think it's stupid, like bulking up.
Yeah, it's not that. She's like, oh, I'm afraid to eat the calories you've given me. But yet she's going over the calories every week. So why is, like, I'm just like, if we actually prioritized our protein, and I've actually decreased her protein target.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if we can hit our protein, you're going to feel full, you're going to feel satisfied. But like, it's literally like, but I'm not eating much. I'm only having like a cup of soup and bread at breakfast, and I only have a banana or at lunch, and I only have a banana for dinner. And I was like, yeah, and I can guarantee you then you come home in the evening and you raid the press while you're making the dinner. Like, she openly admitted to me.
I'm about to say, yeah, do you know, again, she obviously is. If she's not losing weight in a very obvious deficit, but do you know that she's like overeating, or are you assuming that she's overeating?
Well, she said to me in our initial call that she'd often go to the press in the evenings and take out 4 or 5 biscuits and go to the bathroom and have them, so her husband wouldn't see her doing it. Like,
yeah. Okay, yeah. And have you asked her that recently? Like reference that point and just like, okay, so we're having this, rather than, because like sometimes you don't want to end up in this confrontational battle with a client where you're going,
yeah,
look, I know there's something else going in here. It may be more of like, okay, cool. So we're having like that cup of soup for lunch. We're having whatever she said she had for breakfast. I'm like, so tell me about your evenings. Like, you mentioned at the start that was a big problem point for you. Like, how are they now? And that's her opening.
yeah.
And you almost want to, like, it's like, you know, when you're trying to bait someone who's a bit fucking stupid. You know, like people that think that, you should, I don't know, you should only just have meal replacement shakes. and then eventually you just like debate them and they dig themselves their own grave. That's the approach I give for these kind of clients. It's like, get to the point where they set themselves up and they almost talk themselves into, oh shit, that's why I'm not losing weight. It's like the reality check without you having to be the bad guy. And you can either do data or just nudging them in that direction. You know?
No, 100%. Like, she has openly said to me at times, being like, I know this week wasn't good. And then she had a really good week last week. And even in her check-in, she was really positive. And then yesterday, check-in was Friday. She was really, really positive. I was chatting to her Saturday. She was really positive. I checked in with her Tuesday night and I got this big spiel yesterday, like this big, massive message.
Okay.
And it was like, you're not going to like what you see. That was the first wording of it. And I actually didn't go into it at the time because I was trying to do check-ins. And then last night I had like a 5-minute voice tag when I actually got around to it. On top of that, literally repeating herself. And I just went back to her then and I just said, like, I was really compassionate because look, she's struggling. I know she's struggling. But the other side of it is, like, she said she wanted to do the workout. She said she wanted to get up before work and do her workouts. She hasn't done a workout for me yet. She's going to running club, which is absolutely perfect. She's doing 2 days a week, but then she's including it in her steps and she's only getting 10,000 steps with the running club. So I'm like, they're two different things. If you're counting them as steps, we can't count it as cardio because you're double counting and your expenditure is much lower. That baffled her altogether. And it's just like, am I to increase her step count then and bring it up to maybe 15 on the day she is running club? Or do I just continue to try and explain to her that, you know,
yeah, I get that.
double.
There's a couple of ways you can approach this, right? So we could look at this as in, like, if she's struggling and she seems like her life's chaotic and she's not getting a lot of stuff done and she's a bit clueless, we could go, right, what is the next win we could get? So what's the small thing she could do this week to take her 1% better than where she was in the previous week? So, because there's this thing here, there's this common thing that she feels like a failure. And the failure is probably the reason that's spawning the eating and the not doing. If I'm intimidated by the gym because I feel like I'm not good at going to the gym and I'm going to make a fool of myself, I won't go to the gym. If I've tried so hard to diet in the day, then I just crash and burn in the evening, and then I'll probably eat more because I don't want to tell Aisling that I've eaten this kind of shit. So we can look at the next win and look at that small thing. So she gains a bit of confidence and we can streamroll it up. But she needs to know the expectation that she's now not expecting this, whatever the 0.5% to 1% is. Like, we are making small changes. It hopefully will speed up later, but this is just getting you to this point where you can be consistent. Or we use the data to show her like literally where she's going wrong and present her with it. And just like, so, and rather than trying to shoehorn, because I think this is what coaches sometimes do, and I've been guilty of it as well, shoehorn what is we know is the best diet for them. Like, relatively consistent feeding window, protein with every meal, 10,000 steps, bit of cardio, 2 to 4 gym sessions a week. Like, the stuff we know, if they did this, it'll be so much easier for them. But sometimes that's such a departure from where they're at. Like, maybe like, okay, what are you doing? And how do we kind of make this work? Look, we need a deficit here. It's clearly the case that that's not the case. So we can either maybe push activity up to try and offset this, or she's going over on weekends, maybe bring the week down. But like, here's a couple of options of how we can get to the targets that we set. And they might not be what you would ideally want, but it's like, which one of these would you like to do? And except that sometimes it might be some clients will be really low calories on the week to allow big calories on the weekend, because you know they're going to make that fuck up anyway. Or it could be someone does tons of fucking activity because you know they're going to snack on stuff. And then obviously that's a bit of a seesaw as it is, because that can ramp up appetite. But it's working at what the clients will do and pushing the accelerator on those tools if they're not going to take this balanced approach. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah. And like, I done all this, and I just feel like every time we overcome one obstacle, there's another obstacle. And I genuinely feel she's actually standing in her own way, if I'm being honest. She's making it so hard for herself. So hard.
Anyway, make it hard for herself, and there's a belief issue here.
That's actually that's one thing I said to her this morning. I was like, your self-belief is so low at the moment that you don't think you're actually capable of doing this.
But why bother?
But the thing is, she she lost weight 3-4 years ago, and
Doing what?
she was on like 800 calories a day.
Okay.
She felt the best she ever did. She went on holidays. She came back. She's piled all that weight back on, plus more.
Now,
And she keeps saying, I was eating really, really low calories back then and I lost all the weight. And I was like, yeah, but did you maintain that weight? And this is the bit that she's struggling with.
but also, like, again, this might be a controversial statement, and this is not what I normally recommend here, but if she lacked confidence and belief, and the only way she's managed to lose weight before was to do that, the difference between then and now is that she gave 800 calories a day, and then she went on holiday and fucked it up. This time she has you. Now, I am not saying that it will not be a battle at the end of that, regardless, and it shouldn't be, but maybe not completely. I'm not saying give this girl 800 calories a day, but lean a little bit into what she knows. And then just like as she starts to lose a bit of weight and belief comes, you can then it's much easier to float the idea of something new. It's much the idea of floating, hey, how'd you feel? Do you know what? I'm losing weight, I feel great, but my training is sluggish. Oh, how about you add a little bit of carbohydrates before you train? And then you like sneak up the food without really talking about calories, but she's buying into you. Like sometimes you have to do like the thing you ideally what isn't the most optimal thing in your head to be able to get there. It's like a step back, like a slingshot. Take it. Like, for example, I'm not I'm not pro or anti any diet really, but I think most people sit, if you look at high carb and low carb, somewhere in this middle. But I've known people that think they can only lose weight on low carb, and I used to be that coach that told them, no, there's all these benefits of carbs, and then I realized that these people just weren't following the plan. Whereas if I can then go, well, let's lean into this, let's give them a low carb plan, and then as they start to buy into me because they now know who I am and they know I can get results, I then can have a better conversation with them about the benefits of carbohydrates when that issue comes up. So I think it's where on sort of that moral paradigm do you want to, where's your wiggle room? Like how much you're willing to lean into what she's comfortable with already, just to get her a little bit more confident in herself and the process.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll try that. But like the weeks, even she comes to me and says she stayed within her calories, she still hasn't lost weight. So like,
but she's not the same client that didn't know alcohol didn't count, is it?
No. She's
I think that's I'm gonna highlight that comment you made earlier on for anyone who watches this roundtable back, is that like that when people say all the time that people hit their calories, like that's the shit we're dealing with. Like people haven't got a fucking clue. So like she probably isn't, because like, that same person, if she's prefacing her check-ins with "you're not gonna like this," she's sneaking biscuits in the toilet. I also don't think she's going to be the person that's going to openly admit to overeating on her check-ins. Like she will need that conversation to almost get that out of her. Like, hey, so we're looking at your weight loss and you had a big spike on Thursday. Like, what did you have Thursday? What did you have Wednesday night? Oh, I just had some chicken and broccoli. Okay, and what about after that? And you just teeter her, like she's on the edge of a cliff, and you just walk forward so she takes a step back, and walk forward so she takes a step back. And you're never confrontational with this. You're just exploring until she fucking falls off the cliff. And then as soon as you get that, you're like obviously don't maybe not say this with as much elation, but like in your head, it's like, right, now we have something to fucking work with. And then when she knows, oh, like she might be hiding from herself. She knows, oh fuck, that's what I'm doing. Like next week it could be, hey, right, this is what I want you to do next week. I don't want you to change anything. I just want you to track those biscuits. And just tell me what it is. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to tell you off. Just tell me what it is. And then when she comes to you going, fuck, that's 4,000 calories extra a week, you had to do nothing. You just got to do Like, one of the things I get people a lot to do, I think I mentioned on a previous roundtable with the guy who wrote that book about quitting smoking and told people to not stop smoking. You just said, pay attention to it. Get her to pay attention to her eating. It's like, you don't even have to tell her. Just like, this week, just pay attention to everything you eat. Like, eat slowly, think about how you feel when you're eating it. Think of how you feel after you eat it. Like, you're not telling her you're not doing the plan. I just want you to report back to me. She might tell you herself that I feel like no one comes out the bathroom after sneaky biscuits and feels good about themselves. But she's probably such in that mood, she's not even thinking about it. The biscuits are in, she's out, she's chatting to her boyfriend. If she stopped and thought, fucking hell, this is embarrassing. That
And
might
she did, like, on her first call, that was one of the things. She was like, I don't want to be that person. And she was like, he would never say anything to me if I brought the biscuits out. Like, she was like, he'd never say a word to me, but I don't know why I'm doing it. It's like, she was like, it's just a habit I've gotten into. And that was the one thing she really wanted to break. And like, she says she's not doing it anymore, but
I would reference that.
how?
I was like without calling her out, saying she's still doing it, and just like, look, you mentioned to me at the start that like eating over your calories and hiding that from maybe yourself and other people was a problem. Like, how has the last few weeks been with that? Like, has it been pretty successful with that? Like, you're not saying she's lying, you're just opening the floor. Because if there, you know when there's a discrepancy between reality and perception. And it's just a case of like, if you ask good questions, you get good answers.
Yeah.
And this client will need that. On a closing note with this, before I go into anything James wants, another thing I would definitely recommend, now you've got 53 group coaching clients, is set boundaries with WhatsApp messages and voice notes. Like, get things to check in. Keep things to check in. If you're gonna WhatsApp me points, I want them to be bullet pointed. This is something I learned from John. Bullet point your WhatsApp messages and unless if they are needing help, so I can cover key points and maybe respond. And then that big waffle is cut when you have to bullet point something. It might be 20 bullet points, but you lose a lot of waffle by cutting things down. And I also sometimes set a rule. I set a rule in my coaching. I've not done this with you guys because you guys don't tend to do it. But I set a rule that's like, right, life's not fair, but I can send voice notes and WhatsApp and you can't.
That's what I was going to ask, because I so for my group coaching, I've started doing the traffic light system, but I literally have one of the questions at the top because I do my check-ins through my PT hub. It's in there, everything's in there for them. And I just have my first question, the traffic light, red, amber, green. If they press red, they'll get a voice tag from me automatically. If it's amber and they're doing okay, but there's a few things I want to kind of touch on, I'll still send a voice note. And then green, I'll just send a written message. That's fine. But when I send a WhatsApp voice tag, they kind of be like, oh, well, I'm going to send one back. Now, I've said it in previous groups, girls, like whatever about my one-to-one girls, they're paying a lot more. I don't mind. But when it's group coaching and you have 53 clients and you're getting 53 WhatsApp voice tags of 5-6 minutes back, sure, your day is gone. Like, you can't. So I am going to try and be a bit more stricter with that, but is it okay to do that with one-to-one clients as well?
I would. Like because you're saving this way, right? Like there will be exceptions to this rule, but what I always think is like when I pay for a coach, because I probably followed them for a while. We've all noticed some Ollie stuff. Like people have warmed and had this funnel for like by the time they've signed up to you, they didn't like come on, you pay, they signed up. They like you, they respect you, they've seen your results, they've seen who you are, they like the person you are. So they are signing up to you because they want to work with you, not because of your WhatsApp policy. So everyone respects boundaries and they won't push boundaries if they know that they're there. So I just make from the office like, look, right, I appreciate that this isn't fair, but I can WhatsApp me, you can't WhatsApp me. And the reason I do this, because sometimes when I like, and I obviously condense this, but like the reason I do this is so that I want to go through any messages I receive and make sure that I give you the quality of feedback that I think you deserve. And that's very difficult if we've got to go back and forward on a WhatsApp. So if you want better feedback from me, make sure it's written, it's in the check-in, or it's in whatever group you use.
Yeah.
And like that will condense that. And because the way I look at it is sometimes clients want elaboration. You want clear things. And if you need if you need your client to elaborate, that's where you have a Calendly link. So like my traffic light system that I use now is like I don't say green, amber, or red, but I just have like how was your overall compliance this week? And if someone's like fucking terrible, it is a link to a 15-minute call. Book that in. It's probably what you're going to do for a check-in anyway. Maybe a give or take a little bit of extra time. So like, I'll go, right, if anyone is struggling, like this chick, right, I know I would get more from her if she booked in a 15-minute call every fucking Tuesday, right? Than me
You
trying to
won't
go
stay
through.
at 15. This is my problem. I've tried to do this in the past and no call stays 15 minutes. They're all a half an hour to 45 minutes. And then sure, my day is gone.
How I do
So
that,
it's like trying to manage.
yeah, have key questions in the check-in form. Like I have like, so when you're checking, you got a check-in form that comes in. You have a if you would like a fast like a check-in call instead, these options are there for your 15 minutes. And in the calendar link, I go, this is a short, sharp call. We will not be going over. What are the key things that you need to talk about so we can fire them off? Like make them come ready. If she starts off with, oh look, I'm going out for dinner with my husband last week. If it's not, here's the menu, what am I having? Right? We need to cut this. Right? It's like, right, yeah, cool. What do you need my help with? Like, right, and here's what I do. Here's what I would do. Here's a strategy I think would work really well for you in this sort of strategy. And maybe good for, do you know what? Maybe good for this client as a whole, actually, as an automatic response. If you want to create more autonomy with your clients, there's something that I learned called the 131. So they outline, you could even put this in a check-in form, maybe. What is the one biggest problem that you are facing this week? So they self-reflect on that, right? So if they don't want to tell you, they don't have to tell you. But one biggest problem, what are 3 possible solutions for that problem? And what's the one you're going to try this week? So when your client gives you a big fucking waffle about how she's not sticking to calories, I'd reply very quickly with, tell me your 131. And explain what that is. Because like I think sometimes like people will waffle because they're in panic mode, and it's a very emotional thing. And you're putting people in fight or flight response, right? That's totally normal. But if I can go, right, you sent me a 50,000 word dissertation, and I'm like, cool, where the fuck do I start with this? Tell me your 131. What's the biggest problem this week? Because you can't attack everything. It's like people on New Year's resolutions trying to do 17 things at once. What's the biggest problem? I'm overeating on the evenings. What is the 3 possible solutions for this? Right? I could go for an evening walk. I could have more protein in my dinner. I don't know, like maybe she thinks she eats when she's stressed. Okay, cool. What else can you do when you're stressed? I could have a bath. Fantastic. Which one of those 3 are you going to try? And you might think in your head, protein, please pick the protein, please pick the protein. But if she tries the bath and she's eating biscuits in the fucking bath, then you know that wasn't the thing that didn't work. Next time, try one of the other ones. Yeah. And then she does that. Yeah. And then eventually she comes around to your way of thinking because she's tried everything else and it hasn't fucking worked. So it's like, I admit defeat. Here's my white flag. I'll try the protein thing. You know? Okay. And then after that, it comes to strategies. So like with protein, you mentioned protein being her big thing. What have you tried with her to get her protein up? What strategies have you used so far?
I have literally sent her I went into Aldi and Lidl and picked up every fucking protein product in the whole place, from meat to noodles to eggs to everything, and sent her pictures. I have done out a meal plan for her with everything she eats on it. Like she told me what she eats on a day-to-day basis, and I done out a meal plan for her, just increasing the portion size of her protein to bring up her protein. Like they're the main 2 things I have. Like I actually I just put a challenge into both my groups this morning, my 1-to-1 and my challenge group, for people to share their protein snacks, because I think people are like, oh, I don't know what to snack on. And I give them ideas, but unless they actually see other people do it, they don't want to do it themselves. So I have, and there's a good few little ideas coming in that as well. So hopefully people will start implementing that as well. Her being the biggest
example, because we've got 50 people as an example, there'll be probably a third of those people that will love all those options and find loads of hacks, and there'll be a third of those people where they have the routine, they don't give a fuck, and there'll be a third of those people that there's so many options that it becomes overwhelming.
Yeah,
maybe that client is that problem. So sometimes meal plans, like I've gone back and forward meal plans for sort of how varied and flexible they need to be. And it obviously depends a little bit on the client. But what the general rule of thumb, what I found is, here's macros, here's every food in the world, doesn't fucking work very often, unless someone's already advanced. Okay. Beginners, if you kind of go, eat 150 grams of chicken, 200 grams of broccoli, 60 grams of rice, and I don't know, teaspoon of peanut butter. That's a weird fucking meal, but like that doesn't tend to work because generally people are boggle my mind and they go, well, there wasn't any chicken in Sainsbury's, so fuck it, I'll eat a pizza, right? Like it's one tire's gone out, so I'll burn the car fucking down. So I was like, where can I add that flexibility? And what I tend to find works is like have any white meat or fish, any red meat or oily fish options. Then like if people then are generally smart enough, if you give them permission to be smart. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but like if there's not beef, I'll have lamb. Like it's a red meat, who cares? And then have a swaps document. So we've got an example, a swaps document, although I think this probably I'm going to make a better one actually, on the portal, where it's like, okay, here's a few options for white meat, and it's like condensed, but here's a few swaps you can make for everything that's in the meal plan. So here's if I put a bunch of like 5 poly, mono, unsaturated fats, like trans fatty stuff, and I pick from these. So there's restriction there, so they're not like too much, or they don't try and fill their meal plan with Pop-Tarts and fucking feta cheese, which I have seen. Like here's a bunch. So there's a bit of freedom, but it's like not, oh my God, it's too much. Like, sometimes people are paralyzed into inaction by too many choices. And actually being stricter actually makes things easier. And that might be the case. I'm not saying that is the case for this girl, but she seems like she's overwhelmed with life.
Yeah.
So maybe sort of like, I quite like 2 meals, 2 shakes as a starting meal plan for most people. Most coaches would completely disagree with me with that, going, oh, but shakes, you're going to get really hungry. I was like, yeah, but I find there's a much bigger problem with like busy people not being able to food prep 4 meals a day than I ever see with hunger in those first couple of weeks. So I'd rather solve that issue first, and then I can easily replace the shake with some eggs in meal 1 and replace it with some chicken or some prawns in meal 3 down the line. But like, let's make it easy. Find a protein powder she likes. Say, I want 2 scoops in the morning every morning, and I want you to like tick a little box to say you fucking done it. And then like, or whatever else, or drop your WhatsApp saying, have you taken your shake? Right.
Okay.
And like make it as that simple as like, I want proof. I don't want waffle. I want proof. Done it? Yes. No. No. Why not?
Okay.
Super accountability. Like there's that. I don't think empathy is great, but empathy and just sort of like trying to don't be empathetic and pandering. Be empathetic and action driven. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think you're stressing yourself out here because you're kind of trying to
a
little bit pander to this client who's like not wanting to take fucking responsibility. And I don't want to go with the whole coaching of you just don't want it enough. But it's like, she might really want it, but she's not doing the work. So don't pander, but be empathetic. Look, I really understand, but we need to make sure that we're getting a minimum dose of protein. So what is your suggestion? Like, I don't negotiate.
I might I might actually be like, what's your suggestion then? What are you willing? How much protein are you willing?
Yeah. How much protein? It's like, here's our range. Let's say it's 80 to 120 grams. We need to hit a minimum threshold of this. How are you getting there? And like, open the floor. I think sometimes, remember I said before in the past, like coaches are really good at mansplaining. Right, and it sounds like an exit thing, but like you do it without even thinking about it. That's the same thing. How about we try a shake? How about we try extra chicken? How about we try more portion of this? How about we try a little yogurt? How about we try this? And we haven't gone, well, what do you want to do? It's like you will have so much better results, and the main thing, more peace of mind if you set out the guidelines and then you're client driven. Like, what do you want? I do the same thing when you book your next mentor call. You'll see the same thing from me and comes to your clients. I ain't going to tell you what to do with your clients. They're your clients. You're a good coach. I didn't need to babysit you, right? But I will go like, if you have a struggle, you communicate to me. I'll go, okay, what do you think is the best approach? And we'll work together on building that. Same thing for your clients. Let them find the solution for themselves, and then you just like guide them when the answer's fucking shit. Maybe a cheese string. Okay, cool. we need a bit more here, but. Do you get like that point? I think there needs to be a little bit more. You need to have conversations with her that she explores the responsibility that she needs to have. Like there's no wishy-washy middle ground. It's the this or that question. Hey, look, we need to hit this target. So what are we doing to hit that? I ain't changing the target, but we can get there in a million ways. How are we doing it?
Okay. Yeah, it's about, I suppose I need to start pushing it back on her a small bit. I've given her everything. I've literally advised, I've broken it down to as much as I can. So I suppose maybe if I start pushing it back on her and be like, what are you willing to do? Then we'll see what she'll come up with. And maybe that's when the mindset shift will come, that, you know what, actually, just because I've signed up doesn't mean I'm going to get results. I actually have to work here.
Exactly. And like how, like, I'm all the big fan of like the more solutions you have to the possible problem, you will find one. Generally, the rule for there's two rules for behavior change is this. The first one is to have enough solutions that you can try enough shit and eventually something will work. But it sounds like you've exhausted that list, and there's only so much you can do here, because when you run out of solutions, from the confidence thing that we spoke about beforehand of your confidence as a coach, are you going to start thinking you're a shit coach because you've now had given her 20 solutions and they don't work? Like, you've given her 20 fucking solutions. Like, the problem isn't the solution. The problem isn't the strategy, right? It's now like, okay, well, let's put this back on her. And it's coaching is a collaborative thing. This is why I put monthly calls back into my one-to-one coaching. I don't have many, so it's easy. But I put monthly calls back in because it's like, well, like I could tell you on a Loom video or a voice note what to do. But like, I go, cool, like, just tell me about your month. Like, what do you hate? Like, I when I realize I don't have all the answers, things become better. Like, look, if you fucking hate split squats, let's not do them. If you fucking hate protein shakes, let's not have them. Like, take a step back and let them guide the process. You handhold to start, and then you just sort of release the reins. And I think you'd, if nothing else, a peace of mind perspective, because eventually one of two things. She finds the possible solution herself, or she admits that she's not that fussed by it. And if she's not that fussed by it, that's cool. At least you're not battling her.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That's great. Thanks so much, Simon. And sorry, James, that I've literally taken up this whole time. I'm really sorry.
I'm all good. That's so interesting. But James, is there anything particular you want to get? I know we've only got a couple of clients. It might need to be a client thing. It might be a programming thing. It might be a nutrition thing. Is there anything you particularly want to know?
No, not really. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, no, not really. No, that was really interesting to be fair. It's nothing my end, just got to get out my own way and start, nailing a bit of outreach and like, it's just,
Who's your supercharged mentor, Dean or Alex?
Alex.
Yeah, Alex is ruthless. Ask Alex to like literally message Alex and go, right, what I would do, I would like if you're not too far from him, I can't remember where Alex lives. Go and buy him a fucking coffee, give him your phone, and go, show me how it's done. Because I have watched Alex grab people's phone and do outreach for them. It's literally, I heard coaches make as many excuses as Ashling's client. Like, oh, I can't do that. My brother's sister's dog's partner's friend. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Message him. And he's on it. Fucking brutal.
And just to follow up, James, I did this with Alex as well because I hate outreach. Like, I hate it. But for one of our calls, he actually sat with me for the whole hour and made me go through all the people that had messaged everything recently. And when I did it, he told me what to do. And some of them I was like, oh, cringe, this is not me. But the amount of responses I got from it, so it is worth it. It 100% is worth it.
The biggest thing.
I've done I had a time when I DM'd like 50 people, but even then, like, I'll go back and forth in the DMs, but like, I just find it hard to like get to like a selling point or like even on a call and stuff. But I think I might message Alex today and just ask to jump on a call with him to go through stuff.
There's two things to say on that.
Yeah, I don't really feel like I'm there.
Two things to say on that. First one, with regards to getting people on a call, I would just do a ton of fucking messages first. Don't worry too much about whether you're getting them on a call. You're a new PT. Just try and help as many people. And like, you might lose a few clients because you weren't ruthless enough to ask for the call. Right, okay. That's like trying to say, what's the perfect sales script before I've done a sales consult? Like, get people into consults and fuck up a bit first before you do the sales script. Like, just get talking. And like, if you what is amazing and also frustrating about Alex, Dean, and Ollie in terms of outreach is that while DM scripts that given by Adam Haley and Steve McGrath are direct, it gets them on the calls, it cuts the fluff, but it's cringe. Ollie's almost the other way and like never ask for a call. Help until they ask for you ask one from you. And I'm like, but fucking I need some clients now. And yes, but it is the way. Like, do you have a lead magnet? Do you have anything you give away? Like, the easiest way to make outreach less cringe is by giving away something for free. Like, I've got idea now. You know the Kickstart course? I'm giving away each module of that. If I've got something like you've seen the value in that, right? If I give that one part of the psychology part of that to people, I could message 100 people a day and not feel like a dick because look, I'm giving you something that will help you. Hey, I've got this thing I generally think will help a bunch of coaches. Completely free. I'm just wanting to message to see if you're interested in having it. No strings attached. Like, that's nicer than going, hey, do you want less fat? Like, that can piss people off the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, another thing I was debating, I'm going to speak to Dean again as well, but I said to you the other day about the 4-week kickstart, to try and get like three to 5 people and just do it for free, just to try and get some like quick bit of traction, bit of eyes on my stuff, and just give me the confidence as well. Because obviously, where I'm not training that many people, like my confidence is in like the absolute bin. So,
Actually, what's your 7-day kickstart? Because you got a lot of people from that, didn't you?
I haven't done one.
No, so
Sorry.
you've done 7-day kickstart. Got a lot of people, didn't it, Ashley?
Yeah, so I did the one, literally copied the one Ollie has up on Supercharged. I literally just changed it to my own branding. I listened to what Ollie said. I practically carbon copied what Ollie said. And I did that. And I'm actually just looking in to see subscribers here at the moment for it to see. And I've had 122 people take that in the last less than a month. And that was over Christmas. Like less than a month. And again, I'm now, whoever has kind of signed up at the very beginning, that 30-day message is going to start going out to them now. So hopefully that'll bring something again. But I've had a lot of people sign up, even for the group coaching from this.
And if you I'm sure you do follow Ashford_coaching, but you absolutely should. That's why I put the handle in there. But like 2,700 followers, and I know you've got just under 1,000, James, like 980 or something like that, right? But like, it's not like she's got 10,000 followers to have that from. She hasn't got a huge following, but like, so if she got 100 from that, there's no reason why you can't get 20 people into a lead magnet if you're aggressive with it, especially if it's free.
Even with like 400 or 500 followers, and they've got plenty of clients. Having the followers is an issue, really.
Yeah. I put something away for free and then just try and get out to as many people as possible. Put it in the Facebook groups we spoke about at the start. Message people about it. Like, the way I look at it is like, I'm still a big fan of the follow unfollow thing, really, because it's how you get if you're not great at getting content that goes viral, that's your way to get in front of more eyes. You've got like coffee shops like around you, follow a bunch of people in there. Facebook groups, go into Slimming World groups, Weight Watchers groups, running club groups. Like, anyone that wants to lose weight, you think there's a Facebook group for it, there probably is a Facebook group for it. Join it, help them. Maybe don't shit on Slimming World in a Slimming World group, but like help talking around it, if that makes sense.
James, can I also ask or just say as well that like what I get people to do when I got that to go live, like any of my current clients, I was like, girls, please share this. I'd really, really appreciate it. Or my family or friends, I was like, can we just get this out as much as possible? The amount of people that I got follows and people that clicked on it and downloaded it just from other people sharing it as well. And I know you don't want to be constantly at friends and family will being like, will you please share this? Will you please share that? But it does help.
What was that with your 7-day kickstart?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I'll get on.
And like, if you want me to send over mine, I've no problem sending it over to you, even to just have a look at it. No problem at all. Just if you want to just pop me over your email, I can send it over to you. And then at least, like, as I said, it's pretty much carbon copy what Ollie did, but just I added in a few other bits and pieces, but like pretty much what he did.
So like,
I'll give you a WhatsApp or whatever in the group.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, no problem.
so for sake of, why is it that in Instagram Insights right now? I'm just trying to look at the insights of my competition. You don't have, you can't see that, but the shares now says dot like dash dash underneath the shares. It doesn't tell me how many shares I've got on any of my posts. It tells me likes, saves, plays, comments, but just nothing about shares on any insights. Do you get that?
Hold on, I'll have a look now.
Yeah, but like do a competition. You said about giving a free thing, rather than just like asking mates to give it away for free, right? How about you kind of go put a competition on your stories, tease something's coming, right? Then from the back of that, offer a competition for free coaching, win, like, share, give people a reason to share your stuff, right? I had 53 likes, 68 comments, which probably means I had 68 shares. I wish I had one more. If I had 68 shares of that competition post, right? From that, how many eyeballs got on my page, right? People like free stuff. And it doesn't mean you have to give away. I gave away a free spot and I gave someone some programs, right? I didn't give away anything that cost me money. Like nothing other than my time having Aisling for a year on this program has cost me nothing. So like you could give away something like that, and then from that, everybody who shares that, who didn't win, and you could wing it a little bit and choose who wins. Is I didn't do this time. I generally read the forms, by the way. I didn't have an agenda. But before, like Kian and Adam, right, I span the wheel and I had 3 or 4 people that I wanted it to land on, and I span it until I got one of those 4. Apologies to anyone that might listen to this that signed up afterwards, but you're playing the game a little bit. So like maybe choose one of your mates you already wanted to sign up, but anyone then who shared your shit, who didn't win, off from the free 7-day kickstart before launch. And then launch that.
I'm just going to follow up on that as well, because I did a giveaway. I was 2 years in business last October, and I did a giveaway, and I gave away 3 months free coaching, and I gave away one of those walking pads because everyone wants them now. And I did that, but like there was like 297 likes. There was 466 comments on it. There was something like 38 shares. No, it was more. There was 38 saves. There was like 46 shares. So honestly, the amount of new followers I got from that as well. So I know, like, look, it's time. It is your time, but it's not an extra expense. As in, it's your time you're giving away, but it's not an extra expense. So if you can kind of put that time aside to bring someone on for nothing and get a transformation with them, it might be worth it.
I'd also say as well, even if that person doesn't, because free often people don't commit to free. So I feel very, very grateful that you've turned up to most of the calls. But I got 3 clients off three of the new joiners this year have come off the back of that competition. So Aisling has paid for herself. Right. So like if you think of it like that, that just gives you opening to message people. I look at like once a quarter, have something you can do like that. And maybe you can do it a little bit more regularly if you're new to this. Like everyone gets the free 7-day kickstart off the back of that, so everyone gets something free. But I would like to say you do a 7-day kickstart at the start of the year, or you do a Facebook group program when everyone comes in, you give advice in a Facebook group for a week, or you do a competition, or like this. You can play around with a bunch of stuff. I did a bingo card once that worked really well, where I did had a bingo card made up, and I can put this on the group if I can find it on Canva, where like little things like walk 10,000 steps, do your food prep, consume a protein shake, hit your protein target, listen to an episode of my podcast, like a mixture of good, like serious things and silly shit. And like the winner would get, whoever filled the card first would get a free month of coaching or something like that. And then people just started in their stories tagging me having crossed off these bingo card stuff. That encouraged participation, that encouraged shares. So we can sort of play around with that. I might do a coach's version of that actually. But yeah, so like
everyone loves
what it is.
Yeah.
Huh? Everyone loves free shit.
Everyone loves free shit.
Everyone loves free shit. Yeah, so is there any more questions regards to any client stuff, training stuff, nutrition stuff? Ashton, you all good for now?
Appreciate the help from you both. Thank you very much.
Awesome, guys. Well, have a good rest of your day. Hopefully everyone's set up for the next week and we start getting some people back in the calls. I'm sure tomorrow will be busy, but catch you soon.
Thanks a million, guys.